Hello, you beautiful people. It's me again. Me. Hello there, everybody. Another beautiful day. Man, pray for those people out in, I think it was where the tornado hit, man. Pray for those people, man. Anyway, talking video games here. Let's do this. So, Pcie 3.0 versus Pcie 4.0. What's the difference? Well, 4 is faster than 3. Okay? 4 is faster than 3. Okay? And when it comes to the Pcie, it all comes down to the motherboard, because your motherboard dictates your motherboard dictates how Pcie should go. What I mean by that is this: if your motherboard is Pcie 1.0, then the video card need to be 1.0. Then the memory need to be 1.0, whatever. Okay? If your motherboard is Pcie 2.0, then if your motherboard is Pcie 2.0, then your video card needs to be 2.0. Okay? If your motherboard is Pcie 3.0, then your video card needs to be 3.0. If your motherboard is Pcie 4.0, then your video card and your memory need to be Pcie 4.0. You can't have a video card that's Pcie 4.0 and then have a motherboard that's Pcie 1.0. They're incompatible. Okay? You can't have a video card that's Pcie 3.0 and the motherboard is only Pcie 2.0. They're incompatible. Okay? Here's why. I had a GTX I think was it 9800, and it was Pcie I think 2.0, right? So I had a motherboard that was Pcie 1.0, and I had the right power supply and everything. I tried to hook both of them things up, and I got the longest beep I have heard in a while. Beep. You know what I'm saying? So I tried it 3 times and I realized, oh, they're incompatible. Okay? And then when I did my research on the board, you know what I'm saying? When I did my research on the board and the video card, they were incompatible. So that's why they weren't working together. So when it comes to this Pcie, whether it's Pcie 3.0 versus 4.0, it all comes down to compatibility. Because if you have a motherboard that's Pcie 3.0, then the video card needs to be Pcie 3.0 as well. You can't have a motherboard that's Pcie 3.0 and then the video card is 4. Nah, it don't work. You're gonna have a problem, you know. So when it comes, speaking of beeps too, when it comes, you know, computer run on beep codes. Like beep 1 is your timer, is your clock. Beep 2, beep 3. Each beep, every time your computer gives a beep, that means something is right or something is wrong. And when it comes to those beep codes, you got to understand those codes, those beeps and what they mean. But when it comes to this Pcie thing, it's all about compatibility. They have to be on the same wavelength, so you can get the best performance. Okay? Because look, when I had that GTX 9800 and I'm connected, had a nice power supply too, I heard beep. Okay, all right. So I tried it again. Beep. Tried it again. Beep. Tried it again. All right. And I looked at the board. Oh, you're Pcie 1.0. Oh, you're 2.0. So you're incompatible. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes down to that Pcie thing, man, it's all about compatibility, man. They have to be on the same page. Okay? It ain't about 3 versus 4. Of course, 4 is faster than 3. Of course, 4 is faster than 3. But in order for 4 to get the performance it needs, you need to have the motherboard, the video card, everything, all using the same Pcie 4.0. So that's what it means. But anyway, says here, Pcie 4.0 is the latest iteration of the interface that connects the best graphics card, sound card, and or best SSD for gaming to motherboards, at least until PCIe 5.0 comes along. In this guide, we explain what the benefits of PCIe Gen 4 are and whether your own PC is compatible. Like I said, compatible. It's effectively doubled the bandwidth over PCIe 3.0, 1 gig, see, per lane, allowing more data to transfer simultaneously from connected device to the CPU and vice versa. For example, on a 16 slot, the one you slot a graphics card, and there are 16 lanes, each operating at 2 gigabytes per second on PCIe 4.0, which works out at maximum unidirectional bandwidth of 32 gigs per second. So far, you see most of the benefits of PCIe 4.0 when looking at NVMe SSD, which the previous generation, the maximum bandwidth available on the M2 slot, with its 4 PCIe lanes was 4 gigs. So read and write speed on SSD couldn't exceed that figure, with the 4th generation maximum bandwidth double to 8 gigs. We're already seeing that some PCIe SSD hit impressive 7,000 megabytes per second, and PCIe 5.0 is doing 16,000 megabytes per second. Sequence reads speeds, which is getting pretty close to the upper limit on the 4th generation. Here's all you need to know about PCIe 4.0. Is my PC compatible? Yeah, it comes down to the motherboard, and what the motherboard dictates is what you use. If the motherboard is PCIe 2.0, that means you got to use 2.0 PCIe 2.0, whether it comes to the video card, sound card, whatever. But anyway, is my PC compatible with PCIe 4.0? If you're running any of AMD's best gaming CPUs with Zen 3 or Zen 2 range, paired with B550 or X570 motherboard, then you'll have that PCIe 4.0 compatibility. On the Intel side, none of its current chips have PCIe 4.0. That means they're behind. Okay, although that's finally changing on March 30th with the release of its Rocket Lake chips over a year since AMD added support. Better late than never, right? That means they're playing catch up. Some of the best gaming motherboards for Intel chips might already have PCIe 4.0 support, which you'll be able to unlock with a future BIOS meaning basic input output system. Okay, updates save you from rush out and buy a new board. So far, MSI and ASRock have both confirmed that Z490 motherboards will be compatible again, but they're surely not the only ones. And then it says here, what benefits does PCIe gives me? Performance. But anyway, the headline advantage from the 4th generation standard is the faster read and write speed available on M2 NVMe SSD. That being said, not all of the best PC games are performed to take advantage of the faster storage, and putting them on an SSD may give a negligible difference in load time. Even with some new games, SSD might make little difference, as some are still being developed for SSD-less Xbox One, PS4, and hard drive clad gaming PCs. It says while multiplayer multiplayer FPS games like Counter-Strike may see faster load times. These games are dependent on the slowest PC in the lobby. They're not worthy sacrificing expensive SSD space when you just be waiting for SSD-less teammates to load in anyway. On the other hand, games such as GTA 5, Microsoft Flight Simulator, Cyberpunk 2077 benefits greatly from sitting on a super fast NVMe drive, and load times here can be further reduced from the faster PCIe 4.0 standard. So not all games are not all games are made for SSDs. Only the ones that are that require it. But anyway, it says the main benefits of PCIe 4.0 SSD being faster not only gives quicker load times in some games, but it also translates to a much snappier operating system. You can expect instantaneous boot time with the latest NVMe drive if it houses your Windows, Linux, or Mac OS, and fast loading of programs. You don't need PCIe 4.0 support to run NVIDIA's RTX 3000 series or AMD's Radeon RX 6000 range, and the performance increase isn't as noticeable when you see the latest standard with the newest graphics card anyway, unless you are running at a super high refresh rate. Most games don't eat up enough PCIe bandwidth. See? Only if the game requires it, okay? So not all games are PCIe 4.0, or not every game needs a SSD. Maybe if you're using an Xbox, maybe you're using an Xbox Series X, PS5, yeah. But when it comes to PCs, not every game needs an SSD, man. Games work just fine. But anyway, where was I at? PCI bandwidth to improve performance and truly make use of the connection. Say, look into the future, you will expect increasing bandwidth will become the more important. As the best gaming monitor user in high refresh rate resolution as new standard, PCIe 4.0 and its successor should boost FPS, meaning frames per second, or first-person shooters, even when 8K resolution roll around, as it be far more bandwidth hungry. Yeah, that's true. When you go up to 8K, yeah, that bandwidth goes up, man. Yeah, but like Destiny's Child say, can you keep up? They say, what about the future? It says here, it looks as if PCIe 4.0 reign as the latest standard might be short-lived, thanks to PCIe 5.0 SSDs on the horizon. But not every game, but not every game need that type of hard drive. Anyway, which will again double the bandwidth for potential read and write speeds of up to 16,000 megabytes per second read and write speeds. No CPU currently available supports the future of PCIe 5.0. So that means so that means AMD and Intel are behind when it comes to when PCIe gets here. So basically they got to get on their on the ball. Wow. And it says here, though likely comes with Intel's 12th generation Adler Lake CPUs and AMD's Zen 4 CPUs, it is not necessarily something we hold out for. If you're looking to build the best gaming PC right now, though, as early adoption price are likely being too high, just like they were when PCIe 4.0 first landed. So basically, not every game needs a SSD. You know, I mean, if you're playing first-person shooters, yeah, you might need a SSD. but not every game need a SSD. You know, they work just as good. They work just as good. Like on USB 3.0 hard drives. So unless you are a competitive gamer, then you need the latest. You need the latest when it comes to PCIe. But if you're just an average gamer, you don't need all that loading time. You know, some games need it and others don't. Now when it comes to the Xbox Series X, PS5, that's a different story. You know what I'm saying? They're both using SSDs. You know, and the games are like this. You know, so for consoles, you when it comes to the Xbox Series X, PS5, you need SSDs. You know, because the system was built for it. But if you're using like say a PlayStation 4 if you're using a PlayStation 4 Xbox One, you don't need SSDs. Okay? And then when it comes to this PCIe 4.0, it's like I told you in the beginning, it's a compatibility issue. Okay? And the motherboard dictates when it all comes down to PCIe, the motherboard is the one that dictates and let everybody know, okay, this is the type of PCIe I'm running, and this is what I want from you guys. You know, the motherboard dictates all that, man. So yeah, when it comes to this 3 versus 4, it's a compatibility issue. Okay. Anyway, it was nice talking to you people about technology. The name's Chris. Nice talking to you beautiful people again. This is Chris. Still a Star Wars and Star Trek thing. Borg, dark side. I'm gone. Peace.